Real Robin here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Owlboy for PC. I've had my eye on Owlboy for a little while. That's partially because I love birds, and also because I really love kind of SNES era platforming games. Not really huge on the whole, recent resurgence of retro games and retro graphics and stuff like that. But this game really caught my eye because it looked like something more than kind of your typical 8 or 16-bit style. This thing, I think they were calling it Super Bit, so it looks even better than that. It's still pixel art, but it looks really, really nice. I had no idea about the 9-year dev cycle before going into the game. It wasn't until about halfway through the game when I started reading up on it that I found out about it. All I can say is it is absolutely worth it. To the creators of this game, your your turmoil and your struggling for 9 years was not in vain. It was absolutely worth every second that you put into this game. Let's start with the graphics. The graphics are probably the greatest standout of this game. They are absolutely gorgeous. Like the pixel art style, it really kind of it just looks amazing. I have no words for how amazing this game looks. The animations are really smooth. The character designs are really detailed for how small the sprites are. The level designs, every single level looks completely unique, and like a lot of care and attention went into designing every single screen in this game. The story is really, really sweet. It's heartbreaking at times. It can be a little heavy handed at times, but it still works really well. The owl lore is really, really intriguing, and I really, really want to know more about it. I'm sure there's more stuff hidden in the game that I haven't found yet. I'll be going back to try and find more of that. But if there's anything that's not in the game, it left me wanting more. The ending is a little abrupt. It kind of comes out of nowhere, even though it's sort of a climax. You don't really get to do what you thought you were going to do. But it does work out well. The final boss that you do get to fight is really, really good. Like, it's quite a cool fight. It's a bit easier than some of the fights that have come before, which is, I think, why I found it a bit strange and I was expecting something else to happen. But yeah, it still works really well. It left me with a bunch of questions, and I'm usually happier, you know, leaving some stuff up to my imagination and having some questions at the end of a game rather than having a prolonged explanation at the end of it, trying to tie up all the loose ends. The gameplay is really tight and fluid. I found myself switching between the D-pad when I was on land and the control sticks when I was in air. That's just a habit of mine. I'm used to playing old school games with the D-pad. This game, because it was kind of a twin stick shooter in a way, you did have to switch to the sticks. It felt a little bit weird using the D-pad with one thumb and the stick with the other. So I found myself kind of switching around the controller, but it never really felt bad. It was just different. Switching between the weapons really ties you to the characters in this game because there are three other characters besides Owlboy who come along on the adventure with you, and they're the ones who hold the weapons. Owlboy can't actually hold a weapon himself. He has to rely on his friends to do that, and he kind of carries them around. So it's a really unique and interesting way of tying you to the characters and making you spend quite a lot of time with them. There's a lot of dialogue back and forth between them. Even though Owlboy is mute, he still emotes quite a lot. But the other characters do all the talking, and yeah, you get to learn quite a bit about them over the course of the game just through spending time with them rather than completing levels and then having a little cutscene at the end of it. It can be a little bit frustrating at times. The sprites are quite small and they can get lost on the screen. Owlboy is brown and some of the levels are quite brown, and I found myself in the heat of a really frantic and chaotic boss fight, having a bit of trouble focusing on where Owlboy was when there were a lot of sprites on the screen kind of coming at you. There was one boss fight where you had to use the same button to struggle out of an enemy's grasp, and it's also the same button that makes you land, so I died quite a few times to that little kind of hiccup with the control scheme. There's also, for some reason, with the shotgun, when you use it, the screen flashes bright red. Like, not just around the shotgun, the entire screen flashes bright red. And it's a little bit confusing because sometimes you think you're taking damage when you're not actually taking damage. All these gripes aside, it's a gorgeous game with really well-written lore. The characters are fantastic. The story's really interesting. The combat, apart from what I just said, is still really, really fun. I highly recommend this game. If you like old school games or side-scrolling shooters or really interesting kind of sweet and heartbreaking stories as well, it covers all of those things. And yeah, it's just a fantastic game. Please go out and buy it. Please support this studio. They worked a really long time on this game and they absolutely deserve all of the praise they get for this one. I am looking forward to the next game with bated breath. That's about all from me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any suggestions for future videos or reviews, please leave them in the comments below. Have a good one!